Hey guys, Irene here, and today I have a very exciting video. I'm reviewing a new and improved Nifty 50 Canon RF50mm 1.8. Before we start, I need to make a disclaimer. This is not a technical review, so if you want to read the specs, you can go to Canon's website with all the details about the lens. I will link it in the description. This review is purely based on my real-life experience using the lens at the photo shoot. The lens is also a pre-production model, so keep that in mind. And lastly, I am a Canon ambassador, so of course I love Canon gear and I love their lenses, but this review is not sponsored by Canon. All of my YouTube videos are based on my own opinions only. Alright, let's get back into the review. So what got improved? First of all, we got the signature control ring that you can find on the RF lenses. The control ring can be set to adjust whatever setting you want. This, plus the fact that the lens is not all plastic anymore, made the lens a bit bigger. But in terms of weight, the difference is very insignificant. The RF version is still very small and very light. And generally, the RF version just feels a bit more expensive, not as plastic like the old EF version did. I really like the feel of it so much better. When it comes to quality, just like other RF lenses, this one is faster, sharper, produces less lens flares, chromatic aberration. It's overall improved quality over the EF version. The original Nifty 50 was actually my first full-frame prime lens that I ever bought. It's all I could afford after I spent most of my money on the 5D Mark II, and it's still a lens I recommend for those who are just starting out to build their lens collection. It's honestly so iconic and so versatile. I loved the old version, and now we have an even better one available. So since this is one of Canon's budget lenses, I will be using it with Canon RP body. I think it is a great combination even though it is on the cheaper side. It really packs a punch and you will be able to achieve some awesome results with it. Let me actually stop talking and show it to you guys. So I started off with taking portraits of my model Cheyenne close to a tree, and I'm using the branches and the leaves to create interest and depth in the pictures. And then I decided to use a stepladder to get a higher angle and avoid the wide boring sky in my shots. Ooh, that's a nice angle, yeah. Gorgeous. Now to compare, I also took some pictures with my usual setup, Canon R5 and the RF50mm 1.2 lens. These two setups are dramatically different in price points, and of course you can see the difference in the background blur and overall quality, but I wanted to show you guys that you can still get very similar results on a budget. And I'm sure some of you will actually prefer the results on the left, so let me know which one you like better in the comments. I will be comparing these two setups throughout the whole video, so stay tuned. Oh, that's gorgeous. Love it. Ooh, you know what? What if I give you one of these to kind of like play around? You know, you can kind of like... Okay, yeah. Yes, exactly. That's amazing. Beauty. Awesome. Ooh, that's beautiful. maybe actually lower. What if you drop lower here, over here? Yeah, yeah. Ooh, that's really, really pretty. Stay like that, stay like, okay, do not move because that is gorgeous. And just chin down just a little bit. Ooh, your hair looks so good here. What if you add the other hand? Because I'm shooting kind of like, yeah. Wow. Amazing. So when it comes to close-up portraits, as you guys might have noticed, you won't see a big visual difference between the cheaper 1.8 lenses and the more expensive 1.2, but you really start noticing differences when you step back for full body shot. It's because the depth of field actually increases with the distance between you and the model. So the closer you stand to your object, the more narrow the depth of field is, and more blur and more bokeh you're gonna get. The further you stand from the model, the bigger the depth of field gets, and you will get less blur and less bokeh. So if you want to get the most out of the 1.8, I suggest to stay closer to your subject or place them further from the background. Also, a good tip is to use your surroundings. Good use of foreground and background elements create more depth in your pictures. Here's a good example of how I placed the model in between the tree branches, so you can see some of the leaves in the front of the lens and some of the branches of the trees in the back of the model. They are all positioned at different distances and create more depth in this image without the excessive blurring. Another great way is to shoot backlit. The rim around the model that the backlight created will actually help to separate her from the background and again create the illusion of more depth in your images. With your like that and like this. Yeah, and then you can kind of do this or yeah. Yes, exactly. That's super pretty. Love it. That's amazing. And eyes with me again here. So when it comes to sharpness and color rendition, this lens is amazing. Again, I was using it on the Canon RP and it did really well in my opinion with the setup. You'll get nothing less than amazing Canon quality. Over the years, I have tried many other lenses from different brands and I don't know what they do over there at Canon, but there is a certain magic to these lenses that I just can't find anywhere else. That is something I don't particularly like about this lens, and it is how it renders grass, gravel, and any other smaller particles that are out of focus. The diameter of the glass on this lens is significantly smaller than on the 1.2 that I'm used to, so the bokeh itself would be smaller in size as well. And sometimes it looks too busy for my personal taste, but again, I think it's something that is very subjective, so you might actually disagree with me and prefer the way it looks on the 1.8. Now let's finally talk about the video. I think this lens is awesome for video. First, because of its size, especially if paired with the R6 or the R5 and that in-body stabilization, you can honestly ditch the gimbal and still get the smooth, creamy, bokeh-licious footage. But also because you won't see a huge difference in blur between the 1.8 or 1.2 on the video, so you can without hesitation choose the cheaper version. Alright, so this is it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you would like me to shoot with more budget-friendly gear. I would love to do some videos like that for you guys in the future. Don't forget to give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!